Let's see, are we on? I think we are. Hold on. Okay, wait a minute. Hold on. Yes, we are on. There you are. I can see you. Yes. And you look great. Okay. This is the 39th segment of Making Sense for 7 minutes. It's a summer-long series, Monday through Friday. We are taking a survey in bite-sized pieces of our historical narrative. And in addition to having the cutting-edge excitement of live television, we're also asking the immeasurably relevant question, so what? Hey, when John the Baptist was in the thick of his crisis of faith, he provided for us a model. And incidentally, this is described in Matthew 11. He provides for us a model for how we might address, and perhaps ought to address, our own inevitable doubts. And when Jesus receives a message, a question, a challenge, a confrontation from his cousin John, asking, are you the expected one, or do we look for somebody else? Jesus then provides us with this great model for how to respond to those around us who are raising questions and have issues and expressing their doubts and confronting us about the faith. So, watching Jesus, notice first of all what he does not do. He does not reply with, Dear John, you jerk, how in the world could you possibly have the unmitigated gall, the audacity to ask such a question? After all I've done for you, after all we've been through together, haven't you been paying attention? What's gotten into you? What would your mother say? I am so glad that she's not here to hear her son, her only child, ask the questions that you're asking. Now, let me suggest that you just shape up and fly right. Love, Jesus. No. Please note, the one reaction that John does not get from Jesus is anger. Jesus is not angry. He's not upset. He's not offended or scandalized. And he did not add to the weight that John was already carrying on his heart by berating him. There's another answer that Jesus did not offer to the question, are you the expected one, or do we look for someone else? Jesus did not say, Dear John, yes, I am. Love, Jesus. He did not give John a quick and pat answer. Here's what he did do. The message he sent back was, go back and report to John what you hear and see. The blind receive sight, the lame walk, those who have leprosy are cured, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the good news is preached to the poor. Blessed is the man who does not fall away on account of me. Jesus referred John back to the Old Testament prophet Isaiah's prophecy concerning the coming of the Messiah. Now, by the way, More than once, Jesus used this declaration as his documentation of the authenticity of his messiahship. And you can find it in Isaiah 35 and Isaiah 61. Now, Jesus knows John and understands him. And John is the last of the Old Testament prophets. So he identifies with Isaiah. And Jesus discerns the best way to address not only the questions that John has in his mind, but also the issue of that's in his heart about the things that he cares about most. And in doing so, he provides John with sufficient evidence so that John can now work through his questions and issues and doubts and heartaches and come up with satisfactory answers if he so chooses. So we're provided with a great model for engagement, one that echoes that same prophet Isaiah when he says, "Come, let us reason together." Now, one final question and one observation. What did Jesus think of John when John's sitting in prison saying, "I don't know if I can trust Jesus," and he publicly questions his integrity? He turns to the people he was talking to and he says, "John the Baptist is the greatest man who ever lived." Thanks, y'all.